So in the previous video, we ended up taking on Margit and we defeated him. Okay, got him. A little bit of a rough attempt. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll leave a link to it in the comments down below. But if not, all good, I will get you up to speed on what I'm currently doing. So pretty much, I'm going to be going through the entirety of Elden Ring and its DLC using block counters. And with that, you are now caught up to speed. Alright, so we do have a few things to do on our bucket list. One of them is having a good old chat to the bro Godrick. Oh, he's alive. Unfortunately, our chat ended in bloodshed, but with that out the way, we can now progress throughout the castle. As I scour my inventory, trying to devise a plan to take out the bird, I then had an epiphany. I realized I ain't got shit. As I parkour off the wall, quite elegantly might I add, it was then Pidgeotto descended from the heavens. I realized within that moment that I have over 1,000 hours of Elden Ring, so this overgrown bird was going to be no problem at all. Knowing that I'm on a job, cleaning up the lands between, and getting paid an hourly rate of $23.50, I decided to take my first hand. Yes, that is the minimum wage over here in New Zealand. Feeling well nourished, I then proceeded to push onwards. I see the wannabe gangster overlooking the cliffside, though as I got a bit closer, the intimidation started to sink in. And like a typical wannabe, he called over his bum buddies because he couldn't handle shit himself, so now I gotta show B1, 2 and 3 how shit is done. Feeling accomplished, knowing that I took on a 1v3, I pushed on inside the castle. But as I made my way to the hook claws, I noticed a big motherfucker off in the distance. But little does he know, I just took on a 1v3 like a minute ago, so he has no idea what he's in store for. And like his buddies before him, I gave him the 1-2 good night. Boom! Now we have the hook claws. With the hook claws now within my position, I start making my way towards the explosive barrels. Now as you could imagine, my confidence was through the roof at this point. I decided to hold up my shield and take on the explosive head on. Fuck. Oh my god. As I proceed to power up, knowing what's in store for me behind these doors, you can't tell, but I had one hand behind my back, fingers crossed that this knight was going to drop me the best headpiece in this entire game. Being humbled for the second time now, my rage meter was peaking, so I decided to pull out the cheese weapon, the Bloodhound's Fang. After a grueling battle, I was finally able to claim victory over the knight, but to my disappointment, he didn't drop me the headpiece. With that being said, I finally was able to get the 2 items that I came in here for, the Rusted Key and the Curved Sword Talisman, to enhance my block counter even further. Before making my way to the next tile of grace, I go ahead and pick up the brick hammer and add it to my arsenal of weapons that I can use against these bosses. I engaged in battle with the next Spanish knight, which also didn't drop the best headpiece in Elden Ring, might I add. Feeling parched after my battle with the banished knight, I make my way up the stairs, where I was finally able to take a breather. Because little did I know, I would spend the next hour and 30 minutes grinding for that damn headpiece. But I was persistent, so let me show you how that went. Well, after 40 damn banished knight kills, I was finally able to get the headpiece that I was after. But I tell you what though, if I had it my way, I would have brought over the Surge's dismemberment mechanic and I would have ripped that. You see my little evasive maneuver though? Just testing to make sure that I got the medium roll, you know. So after acquiring my new headpiece, I decided to go through a drip change. Now as you can see, I'm looking, maybe not. Now after careful consideration, it was pretty close, but I got my drip in check. And after taking out the flock of Pidgeottos, I start making my way downtown, falling fast, hit the ground. Anywho, after a sad attempt of a musical sequence, I begin to duke it out with one of the tankest mofos in the entire game. With whatever this dude is smoking, eating, and drinking, I want to pre-order 10 cups of whatever it is. As I make my way across the rooftops, I then jump through the window. and begin having an intelligent conversation with Roger. And by intelligent, I mean skip all his dialogue, but we ain't got time for that. And as I gaze upon Roger's spells, I then remember, I'm a fucking warrior, I ain't using no damn spells. Skipping the next section, I then sneak my way into the dining room. Seeing that a golden opportunity falls upon me, I came up with a grand idea. I deliver the 1,000 fingers of death, or sword of death in this case, to trigger our battle. Seeing that my ass just got handed to me, I stepped back to recuperate and began mounting my counterattack. With another banish knight added to my body count, we skip the scion and go straight for the next side of grace. Because fuck that guy. I make my way back onto the battlefield and start heading in the direction of Nefeli, and remembering that she has one of the best axes in the entire game. I stand there looking all menacing and shit, then ask nicely for her axes. I take a swing as a warning shot, and I friggin' missed. So to make up for my embarrassment, I left without another word. Before I took on Godrick, I actually went ahead and picked up the Mana Tower Great Shield, because Godrick's a big motherfucker, you know, he hits hard and he's got big moves, so I did feel like that the Great Shield was going to be a little bit more fitting than the medium shield that I was using. Now, just like with Margaret in the first video, I had to go through more trial and tribulations, which was fine. I was actually quite curious to see how well the Great Shield would do against Margaret's long wind-up and big hitting moves. Now, there was actually quite a few of them though that caused me to rebound or knock me backwards, which I didn't really notice until a couple of attempts later, that you can actually still keep holding up the shield as you're getting knocked backwards, which was actually really good because Godrick does a lot of follow-up moves. He's got combos for days, man, I tell you. But as long as you held that block button, you can just keep blocking it and you'll still get constantly knocked backwards though, which I think was really cool, to be honest. Like, even though I was getting knocked back constantly, it was still quite nice or cool to see I was still able to block all that damage. Now, I did actually take on Godrick 2 times with his one-hander, which was actually really good attempt. If I really wanted to, I could have first tried it, but I ended up jumping off the edge, just because I didn't want to beat him that quickly and I wanted to try out some other weapons. But pretty much after the second attempt, I ended up going back to Weeping Peninsula, and I took on one of the Knight Riders in order to get the Barricade Shield, which was always on my list to get before taking on Godrick, but I did want to try him a couple of times before getting it. And the difference it made when you put that on your shield and activate it, the amount of stamina damage you take once Barricade Shield is activated is so tiny, man. Compared to if you didn't have it, it makes such a crazy difference, man. Now, I actually do want to mention really quickly that the damage you're seeing, or the damage that I'm dealing to Godrick, is with +0 weapons. Like, that's just how good block counters are in this game, man. Block counters are so good, man. Which is a little bit unfortunate though, because when I was actually going around to Weeping Peninsula and I was cleaning out Castle Morn, I think it's called, it's where Arena's dad is. I don't know what his name is either. But if you're like me and you kill him every single playthrough, he drops a +8 Banished Knight Halberd, which is a really good early game weapon on any playthrough. And I didn't realize until after beating Godrick that I had used that weapon rather than the other one that I had in my inventory. So I was a little bit upset about that in that regard, but other than that, it was still a pretty good attempt though. I ended up also using the lance, which I don't think I've ever used before, just because I always see people using it in PvP, and it's such a cheese weapon, man. Especially if you bleed infuse it and you deal with those motherfuckers, like, man, it proc bleed instantly, which was like kind of rage-inducing, to be honest. But anywho, I actually did end up really liking the lance paired up with the Great Shield. And if I'm being honest, I was actually really keen on beating him with the lance, but I did also want to try out the halberd, which you're going to be seeing that attempt right now. So without further ado, let's get into the attempt where I beat Godrick.
Mighty dragon, thou'rt a true-born heir. A lowly tarnished, plain as a lord, I command thee, kneel! I am the lord of all that is golden. truest of dragons, lend me thy strength. Forefathers, one and all! Bear witness! Of all that is golden, and one day we'll return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold.
Alright, and that's one shard bearer down. Godrick has been slain. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been something that I've been wanting to try for a video for quite a while now. Now that we have the castle done and dusted, our next destination is going to be the Lakes of Liurnia. So if you ended up enjoying the video, please leave a like and a comment down below, and also subscribe if you want to see the rest of my journey going through the base game and the DLC as well.